Hello. Sitting down to make this podcast today is pretty much putting butterflies in my stomach. This is the largest article that I've ever written, and it's been burning inside of me for a very long time and bubbling up and coming to the surface. And anyone that knows me in real life knows this topic is very near and dear to my heart. Now, if you read on my blog my going on a loose hiatus post, this is based off of that, but that post is really just a small flavor, right? A small taste. But here, I'm going to put everything on blast with the numbers, the figures, the analytics. If you are reading along with the Substack, you'll be able to see really good screenshots of different analytics tools that paint the picture that I am putting on display today. But let's just do it. Let's just get straight into this. I call this Beauty Bloggers Aren't Talking About the Death of Their Blog, How Google, AI, and Algorithms Have Destroyed Content Creators. And I want to say this article is not full of all these pretty pictures and all of that. This is a very serious topic, and I'm down to business. And yes, in the article, I have shamelessly included a subscribe button all over because that is the number one way that you can help creators like me. It is free. It takes no time to show your support and to be here. All right, let's get reading. I started my blog, The Aesthetic Edge, in 2015. Yes, now a decade ago. I started on Blogger with a Google domain. That was the only platform that I knew. In years prior, I had worked with online friends with their blogs, writing articles such as, Is mascara just black gunk? I also created artwork for these blogs. So I wasn't unfamiliar with the concept of running a blog. I felt the pull to start one for years before July 2015. I wanted to connect with like-minded people, and my life was highly bloggable. One of my fondest memories was using the crappy webcam camera on my tiny college laptop to shoot a photo of my outfit of the day in a poorly lit kitchen. That single picture burned in my mind for some time. Do you remember when nearly everything from e.l.f. Cosmetics was $1 and $3, packaged either in white or black to denote the essential and the studio lines? And they also used to run 50% off sales several times per year. How wild is it to get amazing makeup for 50 cents or $1.50, right? That is unheard of now. I used to buy boxfulls of their product, so much so that my first blog post was actually an elf haul, and it's the only one that is still live on my website today. I haven't drafted it, even though 99% of those products are discontinued. It was my first blog post. That was my start. I guess you can say that it's my baby, right? At the beginning of my blog, I was a full-time college student with a part-time job. I battled the, oh my gosh, so here we go, my first mistake, right? I told you in my first episode, I don't want to do a lot of editing. I just want to read and keep it easy and casual, so bear with me. But at the beginning here, I battled that thought that every content creator always battles with, is not knowing when to start something. You always feel like you don't have the time to begin. And I'm going to tell you what everybody always tells you here, just start. My goal at the time was to put out a new blog post every Friday, but that didn't always happen. School came first. And I had no idea what I was doing. I was writing whatever interested me, hoping through the magic of the interwebs that others would find me. So, for example, I would go to the mall over Memorial Day weekend or 4th of July, whatever, shop all the sales and do a haul. Or I would showcase my full statement necklace collection. And as I learned years later, we'll get to this, people aren't really looking for these topics. These topics don't get you found. I'm going to do a real-time edit here and put some quotation marks around that. I'm sure there'll be several real-time edits as I'm reading this back. That part-time job that I mentioned was also my first job. I was an apparel sales associate at Walmart from 2013 to 2017. And I loved that job. To this day, I still love that job. I still think of it all the time. And some of the highlights would be me out on the sales floor doing my job, assembling outfits, and then stashing those away at the fitting room. And I'd go and buy those after my shift. I just remember, I didn't even write this in the article, but I would always come home with something, the latest nail polish, a hair tool to try out. My parents would call me the bag lady because I came home almost every shift with a bag of something, right? Now, a local organization so generously provided me with a scholarship that paid for my college education. So I was a commuter, I lived at home, I packed a lunch, I didn't have to pay for room and board or a meal plan. So my Walmart job covered my gas, my school supplies, and the rest really enabled me to dig into my passion. So I was able to, pay the costs associated with a website, to grow my wardrobe, my makeup collection, so on and so forth. Over the 2016-2017 academic year, I came to learn what SEO is, search engine optimization. So, hi, Professor Sweet, but I took your e-commerce class, and I remember you did a lecture on the subject of SEO, and he used this as a shameless plug for his actual SEO course. I was immediately intrigued. Besides the fact that he's such a cool guy, I had to go and take that class. And what I learned is that SEO is exactly what I needed to make my website or take that website to the next level. I'm finally able to connect with my audience, but I also came to find out that I just plain have a passion for SEO, and now it's my full-time career. I work for the #1 large SEO agency in the United States, and I'm a manager. I lead a team of the most talented SEOs that you will ever meet, and I'll be forever grateful to my roots. In Professor Sweet's class, we had an SEO project to present to, let me make a real-time edit here, present to the class. Can you hear my clicky keyboard? It's very clicky. And I used my own website to showcase a list type blog post that I created on wardrobe essentials, like the top whatever wardrobe essentials. I also used my blog to land the job that I have today. And he taught us all about WordPress. In my mind, he is the WordPress guy. In 2018, I single-handedly, what a labor of love, migrated my website from Blogger to WordPress and my domain from Google to Bluehost. And I just want to say here, I don't recommend Bluehost, but that's just a whole other subject we could talk about on a different day. This was the next level of what I do. Not only could I now better optimize my website, but I can really own and customize the design. I went hard at work revamping all of my blog posts to incorporate what I learned about SEO. I also zeroed in on the topics that align with my audience and started writing better articles. Around this time, I also learned that I could make money blogging, and this opened my eyes. Sure, I had turned on ads from day one. I even turned on analytics from day one, right? But you can't live on ads alone with a small website. So I did start incorporating affiliate links in everything that I do. And I want you to imagine this. Back in that time, it would be as easy as sitting down and writing an article called The Best Contour Palettes for Beginners. Just shoot the photos of those palettes, do a little write-up on each one about why I like it, put it out there, and you know what? That blog post, one of many, right, ranked #1 on Google for years and brought me in, who knows, countless affiliate dollars, how many palettes sold, the whole 9 yards. But here, I want to say several important things. First and foremost, I have never been on a PR list. Do you think Wet n Wild sends me all that stuff? I wish. All of the content that I make, I buy that product out of my own pocket. Think about the SpongeBob collection. That was over $300. I have to spend the time going out, spending hundreds of dollars, tracking down all the products, getting every item of a collection. I do that for you. But of course, getting on a PR list is always the goal. Over the years, some brands have sent me products for free in exchange for a blog post review or just an Instagram post. The majority of these brands, unfortunately, are no names. So people haven't heard of this brand. It's fly by night, here one day, gone tomorrow. If customers aren't familiar with the brand, they're not going to be searching for it. So there's no search volume. And you don't feel confident in buying either, right? Now, of course, I have worked with a handful of really cool brands, and there was only one time in the past decade that I was actually paid to create a blog post. And I also want to say I do use disclaimers on all of my blog posts to tell you all of these things immediately. So, yes, a lot of this is my fault. I didn't know how to advocate for myself. Advocacy in the influencer community became a really hot topic over the past 2 years, but I wish that it was a bigger topic before that, right? But you better believe now, I demand my worth. I turn companies down. I do the things. An example that sticks out in my mind is a skincare company that sent me 3 products for free, and they wanted me to write 3 separate blog posts. They didn't compensate me. I tried to convince them that one blog post covering all of those products would suffice, but they refused. So after I published all 3 of those posts, I saw that my competitor came out with one blog post covering all 3 of those items, and there was a disclosure that they were compensated. And to this day, that still stings. Just to reiterate, I buy everything with my own money. I test everything on my face. I swatch everything. I tell the truth. I have never, nor will I ever, lie for a brand. Over the past decade, I also dumped my all into social media. I've listened to the videos, I've read the articles, I've done everything that I was supposed to do. But I never blew up. The only platform that ever brought me success was Google Plus. And to this day, I have no idea why, but I had 10,000 some followers. And when Google announced the shutdown of this platform, it gutted me. My heyday of Instagram was somewhere around 2019 to 2021. I was able to grow my account to 4,000 followers. I participated in follow trains. I had a group of ladies I was involved with, and we would send each other like surprise boxes of makeup that we bought for each other and other beauty goodies. The likes, the comments, it was all happening, it was all flowing. So you can understand why I put all of my eggs in one basket with organic traffic from Google. It just worked for me. It was my thing, you know? It brought the majority of traffic to my website. So yeah, I tried SEO for social media, but I was just never the lucky one. ChatGPT was released on November 30th, 2022. Now, with it being new and people are, of course, skeptical of new things, us bloggers really didn't see a change in our traffic, didn't really see any effects there. Bloggers, such as myself, actually hit a traffic peak from Google in August and September 2023. Then, on September 14th, 2023, Google released their helpful content update. We all took a hit. Now, it was slight, but traffic never recovered. So if you're reading the Substack, I do have a screenshot here of my website's analytics from Ahrefs where you can see that peak and that drop and it never recovered. And I also have a screenshot of a competitor that shows essentially the same exact thing, but it's from SEMrush. Reasoning is I have free accounts on Ahrefs and SEMrush, so I'm limited in terms of who I can look at on those platforms. But anyway, life went on until it didn't. And this is the date that will live in infamy for me. But on January 29th, 2024, everything changed permanently. My website traffic started to steadily drop. It never recovered as depicted in the screenshot that you can see in the Substack post from Google Search Console. And I also have a screenshot from Ahrefs that will show you the same sort of thing, so the full destruction. And then I have a screenshot of my competitor in SEMrush, basically looks the same as my website, okay? So I want you to imagine this as a content creator, as a website owner. You're getting about 1,500, we'll say, clicks per day from Google. And then you watch it steadily drop 800, 700, and this keeps going all the way till you're in double digits, getting maybe 20, 25 clicks a day. And again, as you can see from the screenshots, if you're viewing them, the traffic has never rebounded. It has never recovered. Now, of course, in January of 2024, I was completely freaked out. My first thought was that I committed an SEO no-no and Google has put me on the naughty list or something that they don't like, right? So I spent countless hours not just racking my own brain, but going through analytics and searching the internet, trying to find an answer. The only thing that I could find were forums where some people were seeing a similar story to me, and they were predicting that something big was on the way from Google. This prediction was 100% correct. On March 5th, 2024, perhaps another date that will live in infamy, Google rolled out a core algorithm update, perhaps the biggest update of all time. With this update, Google claimed that they are making search results more helpful and relevant. But allow me to unwrap or summarize for you what actually happened here. Bloggers like me were completely removed from search results, or in some isolated cases that I'll discuss shortly here, we were knocked down several spots, several ranking spots. The search results were replaced with big name publications and brands, and Reddit became a top ranking result as well as other forums. And I should probably also say in here too, video results, YouTube results showing. To this day, I have a handful of blog posts that still rank on page 1 of Google, but no longer in position or rank 1. The only thing that I can figure with these legacy blog posts is that Google just views them as so authoritative that Google believes they still deserve to rank. And I wish I would have screenshotted this from SEMrush at the time. I was looking at this over a year ago now, but I was doing a traffic analysis and it straight up showed me on a chart that I lost 98% of the traffic coming to my website because it was all from Google. So, second time I'm saying this here, I was gutted. I spent the past year trying to figure out what went wrong with my website and how to recover. And the most scary part is that industry experts could offer no nuggets. You could and still can scroll down your LinkedIn feed. I follow a lot of industry experts and see post after post that contradict the posts that you just read. It's crazy. On May 14th, 2024, Google launched AI Overviews, otherwise known as SGE, Search Generative Experience, in search results live to all users. And you might remember big scandals over inaccurate AI results, such as telling people to jump off of bridges or to put glue in their pizza cheese. If you don't believe me, yes, all of this happened. Look it up. Don't use Google, though. Use something else, okay? And what we know now is that users tend to read the AI overviews and not click through to a website. 40% of searches end in 0 clicks. And many of the links inside of AI overviews link to more Google search results and not to our websites. Google is even putting AI results inside of the people also ask answers, making the links that take you to other websites really hard to see unless you have experienced SEO eyes like mine. Now think about yourself and how you use AI, if you use it at all. You allow it to give you an answer and you move on. You don't even scroll down past it. And if you do scroll down, the next thing you interact with is usually a video. Now imagine how wild that looks on desktop if you have Google and you have the AI overview section, then a video section, then Reddit results, then finally the old classic blue website links, and then you don't even rank 1 in those links. Maybe you rank like 3 or 4. Reading or listening to everything I just said indicates you're invisible. And if that's on mobile, that's even worse. You just don't exist, man. You're not even in the game. So over this year, I was very upset. It was like having an identity crisis. I've always been a blogger. Who am I now? Do I quit? Do I double down? I spiraled again and again with these thoughts and questions, constant highs and lows to my coworkers, to my boyfriend. Everybody knows the story. Everybody knows how deeply affected I was by this. On February 5th, 2025, ChatGPT launched a web browser and made it accessible to all users. So it was available beforehand, but you had to be a paid user. And now it was fully rolled out to all of the free users. And this was their way to compete with Google. So that means, again, more traffic hits for us bloggers. I do want to say, over the past year, I've learned a lot. And this is not me trying to pat myself on the back, but everything that I figured out is finally just now being said by experts. My findings are being validated. And I'm sorry to jump around with all the dates, but stream of consciousness, my brain, I'm allowing it to spit it all out here. In May 2024, there was a Google algorithm leak. And some people think, it was just a PR stunt to distract us away from Google being in hot water, lawsuits over AI results, the glue in the pizza cheese, okay? But Google claimed this was old algorithm stuff, no longer being used. Don't listen to it. But the biggest takeaway is that they might mark websites, such as my own, as a small personal website. And while we don't know what that means, that validates my suspicion, my assumption that we have been singled out. We have been attacked. I've definitely heard ordinary people complain about the quality of search results, not wanting to see Reddit, not wanting to see AI overviews, so on and so forth. And I want to stop here and say, if you feel the same way, if your heart connects with my story, I urge you, use any other search engine. Hell, try Bing. I still rank there. We still rank there. And stop using the term Googling as a verb. Try saying searching or looking it up. Don't give Google everything. And now, perhaps the biggest paragraph here, the biggest takeaway for you. What burns me to my core is two-part, but one, the concept of user-generated content known as UGC, which is Reddit. And beyond that, looking at who ranks on Google now that I don't rank. That's your, Vogue, Allure, Who, What, Where, Amazon, Elf Cosmetics, right? The big brands, the big publications. So what you are saying, what Google is saying is somehow all of this is more helpful than me. Someone with a decade-long run of experience who tests every item, buys every item with my own money. You're saying that I am not user-generated content, that I don't count, that I don't deserve to exist, that this is not quality content. I will never believe that. The industry advice now is that you can't rely on Google to build your audience. You need to be everywhere that your audience is. You need to build a brand outside of Google. And yes, I agree with this. But for one thing, I am not a physical business. So that means I can't do things like have a billboard ad or a print ad, a TV commercial, a business card. I don't have a Google business profile to show up on maps. So that whole aspect is gone. So what the experts mean is the following. Let's remember that blog post title that I shared earlier on, the best contour palettes for beginners. I could sit down maybe in 2 evenings after work, crank out that blog post. Now you have to do the best contour palettes for beginners from the drugstore with bare skin. And you have to write this crazy in-depth article. You have to think of every potential angle that a reader might think of, every question, every topic. And beyond writing those thousands of words up, you have to put a summary at the top of the article, summaries along the way, all the pictures, all the videos, the frequently asked questions, and this list just goes on. After you do that, You have to share this article to all of your social media platforms. You need to put out a long form video. You got to put out short form videos. You got to have a podcast. Okay, pump the brakes here. I am one lady. I don't have a team. I've been doing this for a decade. I am tired. There is no possible way that I can take all of this on. It is not as simple as it once was to be a blogger. And I'm just going to pause here and kind of add a couple of things. Over the years, I've been told so many times, you should be a YouTuber. I don't see myself sitting down in front of the camera and making 20-minute videos. It's not me. It's not who I am. I joined this lifestyle because I wanted to connect with like-minded people and I like to write. I am a writer. I am not the talking head behind the YouTube video. I never was and I never will be. And part of that is why I'm here on Substack. I'm here where I can just write and not worry about anything. Not worry about SEO and the robot and doing it right and doing it wrong. And I'm still learning. I go to all the webinars, I'm reading all of the articles, and it's like every day I get beat down some more. You're being told, now you have to write your blog post like this and like that. And I can't go back and rewrite something 10 different times because there's 10 different pieces of advice out there. Again, it's not as simple as it was. I joined to be a writer, and that's who I want to be. But, I'm here doing the podcast. But you know what? This is kind of fun. It's a new thing. It adds some time, but I'm getting there. Anyway, back to the article. Google has been telling us for basically, forever, as long as SEO has existed, that you have to write for the human, not for the robot. Writing for the robot is bad. And learning SEO has put me in a weird spot. All of my blog posts since then are me trying to appease both sides. And in doing that, I never got to be myself. I never allowed my personality to shine through. And again, that's why I'm here on Substack. So I have a link here to my About page, and you can go there and read why I'm here and where I want to go with this platform. Now, I'm going to cover how users interact with AI. They don't come to websites anymore. They go straight to AI tools. And what do AI tools do? They scrape the internet, they read all of the articles, and they regurgitate it back out for you. And you read that and you move on. That means the advice, for the first time ever in the existence of SEO, as far as I know, is to write for the robot in order to connect with your audience. On May 20th, 2025, Google launched AI mode to everyone. So it won't work if you have like a business workspace account. You have to have a personal account, but you can opt in and start using it for free. And it goes deeper than the AI overviews. It gives more complex answers. It's a little more conversational, but it's still not like ChatGPT. It keeps a memory on you, and it enables you to continue researching deeply into a topic. Google is hinting that one day this might replace regular search. And Google may even have the ability to combine data across different platforms. So they own Gmail, they own YouTube, so on and so forth. So imagine if a brand emails you because you're on their subscription list, you read that email and you subscribe to their YouTube channel, you watch their videos. AI results are personalized. So what if it just starts showing you that brand a lot in the AI mode? That's where we're at. That's the scary reality of things. Of course, the other bit of advice is to stop measuring your success in terms of clicks and sessions and impressions, but instead with AI visibility for your brand awareness. But there are no tools right now that give accurate reporting on that. And I agree with this for a business. As long as the phone's ringing, the sales are happening, people are coming in the door, it's all good. That is how you will measure the success of your business. But for me as a blogger, this is a harder translation. And no, Google doesn't offer a solution to see traffic from AI overviews, AI mode coming to your website. They claim that they're making changes so frequently they're not going to give you any reporting until the surface calms down. But you know what it really is? They don't want you to see the games that they're playing. They don't want you to see the fact that you're getting 0 clicks, but all the impressions. And impressions are you showing up in front of people's eyeballs, but they're not actually clicking through. As far as I can tell, my website barely shows in AI tools. I run the queries in ChatGPT in AI mode and AI overviews. I don't see my website, okay? You know who I do see there? Again, those big brands and publications that I already mentioned. I'm never going to be a media outlet with hundreds of writers cranking out multiple articles a day. I'm never going to be a Vogue or an Allure. I'll never be an authority like that. And you know what I did? I asked ChatGPT, where does my audience go for information and in what order do they go to those resources? And this is the answer that it gave me. First, they go to tools like, ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, whatever you like to use, and they do research there. Next, they go watch short form videos. So Instagram Reels, TikToks, YouTube Shorts. Then they go to Reddit and do research and get validated. And if they're still not sure after that, they'll watch a long form YouTube video. Then finally, they'll go to the retailer, Ulta, Sephora, Elf, you name it. Go on that product page and read the reviews. And at that point, they make a purchase. And if they still don't make a purchase at that step, that was step 5, by the way, then they'll go to a blog such as mine for final validation. You know what that means? We are last. Bloggers are dead last if they even make it here at all. That is scary. And I've already said searches on Google with AI end in 0 clicks. Clicks are just kind of like collateral for Google at this point, you know? Here is the other advice from experts that I heard over the past year, so much on repeat, I just want to puke, okay? Use Pinterest, be on Facebook groups, make use of that email subscription list, be on every platform and be on TikTok, all the social media platforms. All right, I don't agree with all of this. Again, I did everything that I was supposed to do on Pinterest. I never blew up. Facebook groups are dead. Facebook as a whole is dead. It's now a place where you scroll, you read rage bait, you watch endless videos of random stuff that you don't even know how it ended up in your feed and why your algorithm is so screwed up. And you know what? I have like 100 some followers on Facebook. You know how I got those? By running paid $5 ads back in like 2015, 2016. I never grew on Facebook unless I ran a paid ad. I'm going to add something else here. None of this is in the Substack, but I go post a reel, and what's the pop up that I get on the screen? Oh, your reel would get more reach if you paid for Meta Verified. Pay the man, pay the machine. I will never do that. Anyway, here, I'm getting very passionate about this. I opened my email list on day 1 of my blog, and guess what? I can't get past 200 subscribers. And then a thought hit me. Over this past decade, how many of those inboxes are dead? And yeah, I can go into MailChimp, and I can clean up subscribers whose emails are invalid, the emails have bounced. But what about active inboxes where the person just abandoned it? They don't log in anymore, or people that aren't good at reading emails and they allow thousands of notifications to build up. My audience is literally full of ghosts. There's not even 200 people there. And what about Instagram? My account stopped growing at 4,000 followers and it's stagnant. I haven't done follower cleanup in all of these years. The thought of going in and manually doing that is daunting. We can't even use apps to do that anymore because Instagram will log you out and say that it's somebody trying to gain access to your account and it causes lots of troubles, okay? But beyond that, if you take too many actions in one day, like you remove too many followers, you'll get banned from taking actions for a certain period of time. So this is just wild. Hell, I'm at the point where I do let AI dictate my social media strategy. What have I got to lose? Nothing that I've done in the past 10 years has done anything for me. But as you can see, I've joined the platforms. I now have a Reddit strategy. I'm here on Substack. Plus, I'm turning these articles into podcasts. I put out 3 short form videos a week. I'm on a new platform called Bendable. It's really cool. Go check it out. And the list goes on. And I refuse to be on TikTok. I'm not going into it. That is that. And one other thing I want to interject here on Instagram is I just feel like my account is dead. And the only thing that I could do to make it right is to delete it and create a new account. And I feel that way with a lot of the social media platforms. I feel like the algorithm looks at you and says, your account's 10 years old. We don't have any incentive to help you grow and blow up anymore. I only feel there's incentive if you have a new account. But let me know if you think there's any validity to that, because I've heard it both ways. I've spent 2025 trying to figure out who I want to be on social media. I finally have my content pillars figured out, and after trying tons of weird stuff that hasn't worked. I know you've seen things on my Instagram feed that look more like a brand should be putting that out, that maybe Elf Cosmetics should have put out that post, but not you, Amanda. And I get it. I finally got it. And I also have direction with my blog post content. However, it's not just the Google algorithm that's messed up. Social media algorithms are just as bad. It's literally like a double whammy, or getting hit from all sides. People have been complaining about reach and engagement on Instagram for what, like 2 years now? All of the platforms are oversaturated too. Think about this. There are over 2 billion Instagram accounts and similar numbers for the other platforms. I am tired of living a life where I feel stopped by an algorithm at every turn. I can't find my audience, and you can't find me because of these stupid games that life requires us to play. I like to think of this as Sears Kmart syndrome. What do I mean? Well, in college, I took retail management with Dr. Professor Powell. Hi, I love you too. And he always talked about the death of Sears and Kmart, differentiate or die. They didn't change with the times and they went out of business. But think of this example. Let's take it further. Think about how malls are going out of business. And imagine that you have a failing mall store, and all you do is complain about this, but you make no changes. Where is your customer going now if they're not going to the mall? Why don't you just go there? That's literally been me for the past year. My brain, I get tunnel vision and I'll fixate on one thing, and I can't break out of it until somebody else steps in and metaphorically gives me a slap on the face. So I had to have a friend come in and say, you know, why are you not going where your potential audience is, right? I did all the complaining, but none of the moving. And now finally, over a year later, I have moved. But through this experience, I've learned a lot on a personal level. Over this decade, I had a list of catchphrases I'm sure my friends and family are sick of. This is probably just some of them, just a subset. I'm too busy. I don't have time. I have to work on my blog post. I'm a one-lady show. I'm the boss. I set the due dates, the deadlines. I raise the bar and I hold it way up here. I'm 100% in control, and I did this to myself. I've burned myself out. And furthermore, there's nothing wrong with my website. All of the fixes that I made over the past year were not needed, and they're a waste of time. I have been silenced by big corporations and greed. I used to do a blog post every Tuesday and Friday. Now I post whatever, whenever. I no longer stress over it. I also have a manageable social media strategy along with, here we go, I need to edit this. This paragraph makes no sense. Along with trying to reach out to my email subscribers. Sometimes months go by without a blog post, and that's okay. I know that I won't be able to do this forever, but I'm not giving up yet. I own this corner of the internet. I love learning and experimenting, and one day, I will have to throw in the towel. There's no way that I could keep this up, being married with kids and all of that, but for now, I'm here. I'm a real person. I'm a homeowner. I'm in a committed relationship. I have a full-time job. I have passions, interests, hobbies, responsibilities. Now I have a cat and a dog too. That's new over the past month. I want time to myself to read, to get back into creating art. And you know what? I like building Legos and generic Legos, and I want to fill my dining room with Lego plants and make my own botanical oasis. I literally have a closet full, no joke, of Lego projects waiting for me. I have goals and dreams. There's other things that I want to do besides blogging. Content creation is just on the side. So, needless to say, my life is lifing. Things are happening and I don't have as much time to create content anymore. But in circling back to the title of this article, of this podcast, it was not until March 17th, 2025, that I finally saw another blogger acknowledge what is happening, acknowledge the death of blogging, right? It seems that everyone around me is just carrying on. Life is normal, not mentioning everything as if there's no dumpster fire happening. So I have a screenshot here from Threads of poor little It Girl. She's a style blogger. I just discovered her, a couple months ago. And she said, "Can we just say being a blogger is really rough right now? Page views just keep tanking and tanking, and when you think it can't get worse, it does." And she just shared another thread where she said year over year, May 2024 to May 2025, if you compare it, traffic is down 68%. Now, I don't know if she means overall or just organic from Google, but I'm sure if I were to pull my analytics, I'm being lazy, I'm not going to pull it, but I'm probably somewhere around that number as well, maybe like 50%, 54%. But the reality is, affiliate marketing, blogging will never be the same again. I would not tell someone in 2025 to start a website. What I will tell you is do what you love on your own schedule and terms. And if it's not serving you any longer, let it go. Again, if any of this resonates with you, the most helpful thing that you can do is subscribe. It's free and it doesn't take any time. Continue to go to websites to research, like, comment, share, send direct messages. And I'm trying to do the same things as well. I'm trying to take these actions. I know it's cheesy and it's cliche, but you have to be the change that you want to see in the world. And now, I'm going to put it all out there, put myself on blast, maybe get embarrassed, but more numbers to bring home the reality of this situation. In 2023, I made $4,000 from my website, from blogging, affiliate income, ads, whatever. And maybe you're looking at this and you're like, even in my heyday, I made more than $4,000 and you're laughing at me. This was never my full-time job. And I'd like to think if it was, maybe I would have blew up more. Maybe I would have made a lot more money. This is the reality, and I'm putting it out there. So after all the algorithms, the AI, in 2024, I made $1,200 from 4,000 to 1,200. So that's more than half that I lost. Let that sink in. I literally lost my shirt on Google. And I'm going to tell you where I sit year to date. It is June 1st. Now I haven't sat down yet and done my final calculations for May 2025, but sitting here on June 1st, 2025, without doing those final calculations, I sit at $174 earned, paid in my bank account from blogging. So that tells me by the end of the year, I will probably have less than 1,200. It'll be even worse. And I want to fully disclose that I do use AI. I see it as a helpful tool, but not a replacement. And I do not use it to write blog posts. What I do is 100% me, genuine. What I like using it for is, back and forth, bouncing off ideas, crazy ideas, SEO questions, maybe like research for a blog post, just little things like that. But, that's it. So I don't want anybody to think that I hate it or I'm against it after everything that I just said and wrote, but we have to use it in a smart way, and we can't use it to replace people that create art, or to replace content writers, or say that it's better than somebody that sits down, actually buys the product and tests it out thoroughly and writes a review of their experience, right? So, blogging and affiliate income is dead, but I won't allow the written word to be. That is it. That is the end of this article. I now feel like a weight has been lifted off of my shoulders. The butterflies are gone. And well, that's it. I don't know how to end after that. I guess we will just end on that bombshell, and I'll see you next time for episode 3. Thank you.